Drop the gun! All I see is a detective down, a man handcuffed with a gun. First things first, he needs to drop the gun.
Aspiring.
That's the word. So the definition was, he just went over it. It was aspiring.
The hopes to be of a certain somebody or something.
Okay, so I guess that would make me an aspiring, since I'm dedicating myself to the craft.
Yeah.
You are.
We're all aspiring, right?
Yeah, we are aspiring to do something.
Right. If you're setting goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Gotta do
hopes.
more.
If you have some vision, and guess that's what it means to be aspiring.
Yeah. So welcome everybody to the 4th episode of Ralphie and Ryan show. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Robert Manzano.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
How'd you get here, Bobby?
So,
Did you take some roads?
yeah, Junior. I just took Route 83.
Ooh, Route 83.
Yeah, to get here, and got your invitation, got the text, and now we're here.
Yeah. So when I first started this podcast, I almost knew right away that I wanted to have. I call you Bobby because we go way back.
I like being called Bobby. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna call you Bobby.
Thanks.
But yeah, when we first started this, I thought, man, this guy would be perfect.
Yeah. I remember you telling me, you're like, dude, this is my neighbor. And when he first brought it up, I thought it was like his neighbor over here. And I'm like, why have I never saw him or really heard about him? But I guess you guys grew up in Northlake?
Yes, we did. Northlake is a city that no one's ever heard of. And whenever we bring the name up, we have to say the neighboring towns.
Yeah.
Northlake, where is that?
Very
oh,
true.
You heard of Melrose Park, Elmhurst? Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's where it is.
Yeah. Northlake is going through some major changes. They're really renovating, and I didn't know until very recently, actually. No, probably like 10, 15 years ago, that Northlake was named because of it was the intersection of North and Lake, right? They kept it simple, man.
That's all it is. That's why it's called Northlake.
Yeah. So Bobby and I grew up next to each other, and you know what? I was thinking about this today, Ryan. You're a good friend, but this might have been my first friend.
You have friends other than me?
Yeah. He stuck around. Yeah,
So-
but I was probably like 3 or 4.
Oh, so you guys met when you guys were about 3?
Right. I'm about a year and a half or 2 years older than Junior here. But some interesting fact is that for maybe like a good 2 or 3 years, I thought your name was Boo Boo.
Boo Boo.
because I think he was trying to say my name the first time he saw me, and he said Boo Boo. I asked him what his name was. He told me Boo Boo, and for a good while I was calling him Boo Boo, assuming
call
that
me
his name was
Boo
Boo
Boo.
Boo.
Boo Boo Ralphie. That's
Boo
going to
Boo
be your
Ralphie.
new nickname.
That's
Yeah.
it right there. So I was probably trying to say Bobby.
Yeah.
That's my theory. I mean, because for
Terrible.
whatever reason would you
Terrible.
say Boo Boo? Because there's no other cartoon. There's no cartoon character during that time. Wait, no, there was that sidekick of that character in that forest preserve, Yogi Bear.
Oh, yeah,
Yogi Bear,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, unless you were referring to Yogi's sidekick, you were trying to say my name.
Or maybe he had Boo Boo.
No. Listen. This is also when I didn't speak any English at home, so
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys were 3 or 4, so...
we had trouble communicating.
True. That's
Very true. Because it was too. You were speaking English, and I couldn't understand anything because I was just speaking Spanish, right?
Yeah, it's like this whole Tower of Babel thing going on. Where I remember specifically one day where you were sitting, I think, in my tricycle, and you were trying to tell me something in Spanish, and my late dad at that time, he was trying to explain to me that you were trying to tell me to push you.
Your dad speaks Spanish?
My dad, well, I mean, when it comes to the Filipino, the Tagalog language, there's some words that in Spanish that are also in Tagalog. So I guess he was able to pick up on what he was trying to say back then. But I remember that you would say things in Spanish, and I wouldn't know we wouldn't know what either one of us was saying, but all we knew is that we just liked hanging out with each other, and we understood enough to get by. And eventually, I guess you gradually learned more English, and then here we are.
I can barely speak it now, to be honest with you.
How'd you learn to speak English?
A little bit at home, but mostly at school.
Did you take like bilingual classes?
No, so at the time, I don't think there was any bilingual classes available.
Man, dude, that's awesome. So you basically were just thrown out there, and you were just like,
to the wolves, man.
So you had to adapt.
Yeah, man. I was 5-year-old Ralphie. I couldn't even communicate with my classmates. That's got to be difficult.
But that's good though. They say to the best way to learn another language is to go to whatever country and just really trying to interact with.
I know what you're talking about, because I thought I told Vanessa, I'm just going to throw Aiden in the deep end. That's how you learn.
Well, that's the best way.
That's it.
You think so, Bobby?
See, it's easier to learn a language to pick it up when you're younger. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
What languages do you speak?
All right, so I just speak English fluently, but get this, okay? I got this app several months ago to teach me Tagalog. It's called Nemo Tagalog. Anyways, I learned a couple words and phrases, and I got the free portion of the app. And if I want to learn more, I would have to just pay for it. But I've learned enough where I think I've impressed my mom and some relatives.
Awesome.
That's good.
Yep.
So at home you spoke English, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I just spoke English, and my folks, the way my mom explained it to me, the reason they spoke to me in English is because they didn't want me to struggle with learning English. But
smart.
If they just spoke to me in Tagalog, because they didn't want me to have a difficult transition.
Yeah.
So I see how that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
That was a good move.
This is gonna be a crazy question, but what's Tagalog?
it's a Filipino dialect.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the dialects there.
Okay. So are you 100% Filipino?
As far as I know, I am, but I think based upon my last name, I could have some Spaniard descent, but I'm not entirely sure. I guess if I used one of those
23andMe, man. 23andMe.
23andMe, right? Like trace my last name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what the origin of my last name is.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'll find out exactly
Yeah.
what my genetic makeup is.
Yeah. What would you expect out of a test like that?
I think it would probably reveal there's some Spaniard blood
Yeah.
in me.
A lot of Asian, some Spaniard, right? What else?
That pretty much would be it. I mean,
Yeah.
if you had to take something like that, so
Yeah.
guess anything else would be a surprise.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yep. So the reason that we brought this guy on is because you are, let me get this right, aspiring actor, right? We looked this up before we came on.
Right. I used to think the definition of aspiring means that you're working to become whatever that word is following aspiring, but based on this definition that we just looked up
Yeah.
here, I guess I could be considered an aspiring actor, someone that's working towards that goal of being that profession, that person.
And we can just call each other that, right? Because we're all trying to do something.
Yeah, I think at some point, or everybody's aspiring in something, right?
Yeah. Very, very good. So what got you interested in acting, Bobby? I mean, I didn't know. I mean, were you part of like the drama club in high school?
I actually was not. First time I ever, I think, acted was in junior high. I was in some play, but I wouldn't say the acting bug really bit me there. It was just something I just did, I guess maybe for the heck of it. But when the acting bug actually bit me was, I know this specifically, 2008, when I saw The Dark Knight.
Oh,
I
nice.
saw Heath Ledger perform as the Joker.
Wow.
When I saw his interpretation, it blew my mind. Because prior to Heath Ledger, as you know, there was Jack Nicholson, and before Jack Nicholson, there was Cesar Romero from the Adam West Batman, and I had my doubts when Heath Ledger was gonna play the Joker. Didn't know a whole lot about Heath Ledger, but when I saw his performance, when I saw how terrifying he was, when I'd see him put a knife to someone's mouth, I don't think I've ever been more frightened seeing a villain on screen before.
Damn it, Bobby. You enjoy movies a lot more than I do.
Well, yeah, he's an actor. I'm sure he studies movies all the time.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman, did you see that new Joker movie?
new Joker's coming
What do you think about that?
That I thought it was pretty neat. Now that is something I when I first heard about like a Joker Origins type movie, that's what I had doubts about too. Because what makes the Joker, at least to me and probably a lot of other fans, what makes him terrifying is we don't know where he came from. We don't know his exact origin. When he was asked about it, he'd said, like, I'd like to play multiple choice. Was he a failed comedian? Was he a mobster? We don't know who he is. So then when I heard that the movie was going to come out about the early life of the Joker before he became the Joker, I thought, no, don't do that. It takes out the mystique. But then when I see in the trailer and seeing that those clips, oh gosh, I was impressed. And you can tell that the way that this film is going to be made, comes across as that it's going to be about someone's descent into madness, someone who was perhaps like maybe you're like your everyday person, but things got progressively worse. They tried to be optimistic. They tried to see things in a positive light, but because of his surroundings, because of, I guess, Gotham City, people just being scumbags, I mean, it wears on him, and I think we're gonna see him just eventually snap.
It looks crazy. It sounds crazy because when I first saw it, the clips, it's freaky, man. It's freaky, real freaky, right?
Yeah, it looks like he's
a normal person that just had some certain circumstances that changed his outcome.
It looks like he's about to lose his mind, and I predict by the end of the film, we're gonna have sympathy for the Joker.
Sympathy for the Joker.
I haven't even seen the trailer, to be honest.
No, it's
but
good, man.
Are we able to pull it up?
we could do some B-roll. We'll do some
Yeah,
B-roll.
we'll do some B-roll on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm still probably gonna have to see it. I mean, just from what you guys are explaining.
It's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. So what happened then after you watched the Joker and you got inspired? I mean, how did you pursue this acting thing again?
So I wasn't sure where to start at first. First I looked on Craigslist and I found this extra role in Indiana to be this juror, and it's not necessarily what you call an acting role. It's being an extra. I mean, but I guess another term for it is background actor, but I wouldn't say you're necessarily acting, or at least not much.
Yeah.
Really not going to utilize really the kind of skills that you would use in a classroom. But
do you get paid for this?
You'd get paid with food for the most part, like snacks.
I guess that's considered pay, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and my first extra role, I drove out to, I think it was Crown Point, Indiana. I remember this specifically. I drove out to Crown Point, Indiana on a Sunday to play juror number 2. And I felt so proud of myself, but I realized that was just an extra role, but it was a start.
Yeah.
And then eventually I found out about this this acting school that was in Chicago. The name of it escapes me right now. Now that I remember, it's Chicago Motion Picture Studios. That's where I took the class.
How old were you?
I think I was in my early 30s. Right. I think it was like maybe I turned 29 or 30. I cannot. Let's see. Wait, 2008, and how old? I guess we got to do the math.
Oh, I am so
We're
bad
good,
at
man.
math.
We're good, dude. Right around 30 is good, dude. Yeah.
Right. No, actually, I was younger than 30, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think.
So you went to all these gigs, and then how did you said you went to the school? How many months?
So I took I think I took it for 2 months.
Yeah.
I think the class was 8 weeks long, and then I think I took another 8 weeks. So I think it came out to be about 4 months, give or take,
Yeah.
of the class. But after that, I just continued. I would continue to look on Craigslist, look for roles that way, and it was a learning experience because when it comes to the profession of acting, it's not like other professions where, you go to school, you get a bachelor's degree, or you get like some certification, you go to trade school. This pattern that you follow, it's not like that when it comes to acting. It's not so, I guess what you call straight and narrow, the path. So for me, the path was just trying to figure things out, just taking different classes, learning methods, and eventually I learned that got to get your headshots, make an acting resume, and build yourself a demo reel. So that I eventually learned the basics. And even after all these few years of acting, I still feel like a novice. I feel like I'm still a student, and
It's huge. It's
Right.
huge. That industry is huge. But I guess it comes back down to marketing yourself, right? That's what I mean.
Right.
I guess in business or in being an entrepreneur, it's really just based on promoting, and it's a problem that we all face, right? Actors, realtors. I mean, we're all faced with the same thing. Some of the stuff that you're talking about, headshots, we need headshots, and then we need testimonials, stuff like that, right?
right.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were thrown out there in the wolves. You didn't have any really guidance, and you were out there trying to figure it out on your own, right? Like,
Absolutely. If I knew that there was, I guess what you call when you seeking consultation. If I
Yeah.
knew that there was consultation out there, maybe I would have sought that out maybe sooner.
Yeah. Did you look at Ty Lopez's website? Maybe he's got an acting.
here in my acting garage, here in my acting room.
I thought he was just mostly about crypto and about business. I haven't
Yeah.
heard from Ty Lopez. Seen anything about Ty Lopez. I remember before I got YouTube Red or the YouTube Premium, when how YouTube has those commercials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be on there all the time. But since I got the YouTube Premium, so I don't see the commercials. Is he even on there anymore?
I don't know but it's a lifesaver. After I saw Ryan that he had that feature where he can lock his phone, and still be watching. I'm like, oh my god! Like immediately, I'm like, it's worth it. Let's do it right now.
See, the original reason I got the YouTube Premium is for that Cobra Kai series.
Oh, is that any good?
Very good.
Is it?
What is that?
So it's it's meant to be that sequel to that Karate Kid trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So it continues the story of Johnny Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
the antagonist, the Karate Kid, and so it has Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso. Right?
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, in the last C2E2 a few weekends ago, I got to see both of them.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm glad we got you on here because I do not watch any TV, and I need to know because series are a huge thing now, right? not even Netflix. It's going more towards like YouTube has its YouTube originals now too.
True.
I was watching some documentaries on there. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then when you add YouTube Red, it's like a no-brainer. It's awesome.
Right. I mean, I think that's how a lot of shows are, directions of a lot of shows are beginning to go, where instead of seeing episode by episode, they'll have a whole series come out like on Netflix.
That binging, right? Like binge watching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I don't know. It triggers something in the brain because it becomes addicting real quick. It's like
what's next? What's next?
I gotta know right now.
I remember the way it used to be is there'd always be that to be continued, and then you'd have to wait like a whole week for a show for that cliffhanger. But now with some shows, just binge watch, just stay on your couch with your potato chips and just on your laptop or on your phone.
Yeah.
Watch a whole series like in a whole day.
So that Cobra Kai, you haven't watched it?
I haven't even heard of it, to be honest. That's why I said I'm glad you're on here. So now I can like get a few, what's the hot stuff right now?
Yeah.
The Cobra Kai. What else is hot?
Well, I haven't seen a whole lot of this show, but from what I understand, Game of Thrones.
What?
They already had their season premiere.
It's a huge deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that show. What else is there?
I don't know.
I stopped watching Netflix and binge watching when The Orange Was the New Black. Do you remember that?
I've seen a few episodes of that.
Yeah, I watched the whole. That's the one I've been binge watched, and then Narcos. That's about it.
It's one show I binge watched. Breaking Bad.
Oh, I did that too.
Man.
Yeah. It's Spartacus. I binge watched Spartacus too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell is Spartacus?
It's what was Spartacus?
It was about the Roman Empire, right?
Yeah.
Spartacus during the Roman Empire. Right?
They were gladiators, but they were like slaves.
That's badass. I like those old like gladiator movies.
Yeah.
Like 300.
Yeah, it was like that.
Classic.
Yeah, real good. Bobby, so take us through, like you're talking about Cobra Kai, right? Take us through the process of preparing yourself for a role. I mean, first, I want to ask you how do you even get the courage to get in front of the camera, right?
Yeah, that's
hard.
You know, what I heard is like the biggest fears of people. No, one of them is speaking in front of an audience, right?
Yeah.
And another would be, what was it, jumping out on an airplane? One of those things.
I'm scared of both of them.
Yep.
Right. But for some reason, when it comes to acting, perhaps even being in front of an audience or being in front of a camera, it's something that doesn't scare me. I'm afraid of heights. I mean, I chickened out going on the Raging Bull over at Great America.
Me too.
But when it comes to, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Giant drop too.
Yeah, I didn't go on. I didn't touch either of those. I like going on the other rides where there were the loops, but not the drops.
Yeah. Those are. I'm so scared of those.
You and me, man.
Yeah.
So I guess
so we ain't going to Six Flags together.
Well, if we are, we're gonna end up avoiding those rides unless
I'm gonna stay in the water park.
You guys gonna be eating nachos while I have a great time.
Yeah.
Okay, enjoy, man. But anyways, for some reason, I find it exciting to play characters, to be these people. And another thing I like about acting is that I get to express myself in ways that normally would be socially unacceptable. So
that's cool.
That's the only time where I can play a serial killer, a villain, someone who's crazy, and people that aren't necessarily extreme either. I mean, playing a dad or a cop.
I seen the one you were playing was that a caregiver or a doctor in that one?
Right. If you look at my demo reel, that's one of the films that I was proud to take a part of, this independent film. It's called Love's Last Dance. So the premise is it's about this man with Alzheimer's, daughter's taking care of him, and he has visions of his late wife, right? And so it's what makes me glad to be a part of that project was that it it gives pays tribute to people who are suffering with terminal illness.
Yeah, and going off of that, when you said that, I'm like, wow, so he's playing all these different roles. I'm sure you had to study a little bit about, Alzheimer's, right? Like,
I do a little bit of my homework. I mean, I used to be in the medical field. Oh yeah, by the way, I've had a variety of different jobs.
Yeah.
I've worked as a security guard. I've been a telemarketer. I worked as an EMT. Something about being an actor, though, I think it's the kind of work that I gradually got into because, for one reason, and not just seeing Heath Ledger's performance, but because I get to try a variety of roles.
Yeah.
And I think it's an example where, similar to my own life, real life, where I got to be different roles.
Yeah.
Have these different kinds of jobs. And when it comes to being a performer, I get to try these different things.
Yeah, that's cool. So you could put yourself in somebody else's shoes and walk around for a little bit. That pumps you up.
That's, I think, what's just a job that I'd say it excites me.
Yeah.
so what would be your favorite character? What's your top character like? This is who I want to play.
Top character?
Mostly, right?
Lately, okay, well, there's this, one of my latest roles was in this independent film that has yet to come out, that's still in the process of, I guess, production right now. It's called Forces of Destiny, Special Forces in the Zombie Apocalypse. I got to play somewhat of a bad guy in this zombie apocalypse, just pushing these guys around with a gun and just lining them up. And I won't give too much away.
Oh, it hasn't aired yet?
It hasn't aired yet, but I guess what makes it really neat is that fan of The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was huge.
And I just like the roles of the governor and then Negan, but the governor, he was really scary.
Yeah.
If you guys have seen that, I mean, the guy was nuts. I mean, he would hear voices. He was vindictive, and he would go after you, and he'd be unpredictable, and he would come across as being very charming, someone that's welcoming you into the community. But the next thing you know,
terrible.
Right.
Bad neighbor. Bad neighbor. This is good neighbor though.
Yeah.
Good
Thanks.
neighbor.
Man,
Me too.
Bobby, when you're preparing yourself for this thing, is it like a switch? I always think about that. Like action, when they say action, is that the switch where you're like, okay, you've thought about this character, obviously, right? You've thought about how this person's gonna act, right? And then take us through the process.
Well,
you're given a role.
I'd say, right, I'm given a role, and you become that person. You think the way they think. And one kind of homework, one kind of method that I'd gather from, like, I guess, different acting classes I've taken, probably one of my last ones was how you create a bio for the character that you're going to be playing. So if you're going to be playing a, say, I guess, a doctor, where you'd maybe even write down on paper, where did that doctor go to school? What was it like for that doctor growing up? What made him choose that profession? What drives him? Does he have any family? Does he have a wife and children? And just by looking at the script, you may not see those details, but you would still keep those things in mind. So then you would apply that to your character.
Yeah.
And
give us a quick second, real quick, Bobby. We're gonna reset the cameras real quick, but hold that thought.
okay.
yeah, you are emotional.
All right.
I apologize, Bobby. These cameras, we got these on eBay, and they're not cooperating today.
Yeah, we don't have any sponsors. We're poor over here.
Yep. Canon. We are using Canons though.
Canon.
It's a good brand.
Yeah. So you were talking about your character of you're pretty much filling in the gaps, right? in your own head.
Correct. So what's going on is that you're creating this person. Okay, so then those things would drive them. I mean, did they have like a tough upbringing, or did they not? Or did they grow up in a fairly peaceful environment? You know how, and that would affect that person's demeanor, and then you would just make decisions when it comes to the way you speak lines, and so you pretty much just create that person, then you make those decisions for that person.
Yeah. So we already heard that you want to play a bad guy. Does he look like a bad guy, Ryan? Give us your bad guy face. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah,
dude.
that's pretty good. Well, when I first met, for everybody that doesn't know, today's the first day that I met Bobby. But when I was watching some of your YouTube videos and some of your skits, which
plug.
Yeah, this is gonna get off topic real quick though. But how can people see some of the movies that you have been in, or some of the? So do you do series or do you do movies?
Bit of both. So you can catch this one series I was in called 187 Zombie Lane on YouTube.
Oh, you're in a lot of zombie movies.
So I was in a web series. Yep.
Zombie guy.
Right. So that's one.
So it's a website, you said?
It's
YouTube.
On YouTube.
YouTube.
You can catch
What's the channel?
Look up 187 Zombie Lane.
Okay, 187 Zombie Lane,
Zombie
guys.
Lane.
187 is that the 187 on Undercover Cop? Is that what it was too?
No, I don't know why it got that title other than 187. That's considered murder. Right?
Yeah,
murder.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can find you on YouTube, and we'll link you up, Bobby. We'll link you up with your reel, and your social media stuff.
Thank you.
Yep. So what was your first gig?
My first gig where I had a speaking role. Okay, it's pretty neat.
Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. I was grateful, actually.
How do you? I'm sorry to interrupt. How do you control your emotions in the moment, right? Because part of acting is being able to control your emotions, right? If you're gonna be the bad guy, right, Bobby, you're gonna have to have that feeling, right?
Right. So sometimes you may not have to keep control. Well, it all depends on the character. I mean, speaking of which, have you seen Daredevil?
No.
Okay. Well, for anyone that's seen Daredevil, the person that plays Kingpin is phenomenal. His name is Vincent D'Onofrio. Now, maybe you probably are familiar at least with the character Kingpin from the comics. Big guy, wears suits. All right.
Nope.
All right, for anybody,
I knew it was a Marvel. I knew that.
Right. He's a businessman, but he does some illegal activity. Where he's
giving us a bad name.
All right. Well, anyways, what I like about his performance was that he's very physically strong, but he has he has some anger issues, but he's able to restrain himself. And there's times, what's scary is that you look at him on screen on the show and it looks like he's like this, guess you can describe think of like a soda pop bottle that's ready to explode, like while you're having a conversation. It looks like he's about to strangle you. But no, he just maintains control. But at any time, he could snap somebody like a twig.
Yeah.
So going back along the lines of what we're saying is that controlling your emotions. I mean, you have the freedom. If it calls for the character to explode, then
right,
you explode. But you got to. I guess
the reason why I'm asking that, Bobby, is because you have to, like, for example, if you're going to be in a crying scene, right, you would have to work yourself up to that emotion to be able to literally have tears come out, right?
True, and I I've yet to be in a scene where I'm shedding tears, but the way I've worked myself to those feelings of sadness, I would simply dwell on things that would make me sad, make me feel very down.
Right.
And then eventually, it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it goes back to being able to control your emotions, because I think it's something that we all struggle with, right? We can choose to have a good day or a bad day, and it's really up to us and what we think of what's going on in our life. It can either be half full or half empty.
It's all about perspective, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about the mindset.
Yeah, it's all about the mindset. Yeah, man. Because I would think, like, this is one of the things that I was thinking, like, if you would be able to be able to because like Heath Ledger, right? That character consumed him. He died because he was so submerged in that character completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what was rumored supposedly.
Say fake news. Anyways.
Well, I mean, tabloids said that like it was because he had a mix of his medication and it just didn't sit well with him. But I do remember about that specifically. When him preparing for that role, he would be in in a hotel room all by himself, locked up, and then he would journal these really dark things. And it worked like a charm. He was scary. And this new Joker is awesome too, man. Wait till you see it, Ryan. You're gonna be like, I thought about, and I don't go see movies. I don't attend the theater pretty much. There's nothing really, there's no real time for it. But I'm gonna go see this one. It's that good. It's a dark Joker, right? Yeah, but it's dark, and it seemed like he got somewhat campy with Jared Leto's performance. I'm not gonna talk about that, but
yeah.
But we could tell in that trailer he's slowly losing his mind.
That's crazy. Like how you said that they consume their, acting like in their roles and stuff like that. They really think they're the character. I've heard like even like Johnny Depp. I heard something like Johnny Depp thinks he's a pirate or something like that because of Pirates of the Caribbean. But like you said though, you have to like, even when you're like in a crying scene, you have to like think of sad shit. So it's like, well, if I want to be the best possible actor I could possibly be, I'm really gonna think I'm a pirate. So he's probably like Captain Jack Sparrow right now, like shopping at the mall and shit. You know what I'm saying? Probably wears his pirate hat around.
Johnny Depp.
But if like
he's lost it.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sure is there like sometimes where you feel like, oh shit, that's not me. I'm like, when you're walking through the grocery store, do you feel like you're a different person sometimes when you're off scene?
I've studied some method acting and some other kinds of methods and techniques before. It's never gotten to that point. But there's still that preparation there where I just work to get myself in the mindset of that person, and I think, what are their motives, what are their goals, what is it that they want, and then I go from there.
Yeah,
that's good. It's probably the safe route. You don't want to get crazy. You don't want to pretend like you're a pirate in the grocery store.
Nah, yeah, I want to avoid getting arrested.
Yeah.
Speaking of Johnny, though, if I made the money Johnny made, I would feel like a goddamn pirate too. Good job, Johnny. Good job. I mean, he made so much money. Didn't he make like, what was it, like 7 of them?
Yeah, but he also, what other movie? He was Edward Scissorhands, right?
Oh, that was awesome. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time.
But after Pirates of the Caribbean, there wasn't shit, right? Like, there was nothing.
There was a big gap.
I think he did some stuff and it was like whack, right?
I can't even remember things.
Exactly, because it was shit, right?
Yeah. I just remember him for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh shit, he did play that. Wait, that was the reenacted one.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
that
even
was.
watch that because I heard people said it was like it's not the same. So what do you think about sequels? How do you make a good sequel? Because it's I either hear, oh shit, this was junk, or damn, this was better than the original.
What do you mean, sequels or remakes?
I'm sorry,
Or
remakes.
remakes?
Because like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, what was some other junk that they
remade
tried?
a lot of them, but I'm gonna tell you why. You know who's gonna say it's junk? Everybody that saw the original, because they tie it to a certain time of their life.
Yeah,
You're not gonna be able to take that away from them.
Yeah.
It's like The Sandlot. They'll never take that movie away from us.
yeah.
There's some things that I think should not be remade.
The Sandlot should never be remade.
Same with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Don't touch
They're,
Back to the Future.
are they trying to?
As far as I know, they're not.
Okay.
And I don't want them to. I guess because I don't want to see someone other than Michael J. Fox be Martin McFly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then your DeLorean will probably be like a Tesla, and then Elon Musk would probably play it, right?
and have it go right into space too.
Yeah. It'd be,
He could be the scientist. He could be the
that might-
scientist.
yeah, maybe they could make it, but just don't call it Back to the Future. You know?
Make it a spin-off or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back to where's he trying to go? Mars?
Yeah. Back to Mars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back to the Mars. Yeah. What's your favorite movie other than The Dark Knight?
Other than Dark Knight, there's a couple. Let's see. Shawshank Redemption.
Okay,
Classic, right?
Let's see.
for sure.
I never seen it though.
There's Tropic Thunder.
Oh,
that's-
yeah,
that's
Tropic Thunder.
hilarious.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
dude. And then
What's your favorite scene?
Jamie Foxx had a role there, didn't he?
Jamie Foxx. Not Jamie. Not in that.
Oh, it
movie.
was Charlie Sheen. Not Charlie Sheen. Who's the guy that got in trouble with a lot of coke? It was Charlie Sheen, right?
Yeah.
He was in the movie.
Was he?
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. That was when they went back into Vietnam and shit, and then Robert Downey Jr. was the black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie Sheen was in there, right?
Was he?
I don't even.
What do you remember, Bobby? You're the movie specialist.
Okay. I think that one particular line where he was saying, "I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as the other dude," something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of funny scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
That time where Tom Cruise was that producer, and he was just going off on the crew.
Yeah.
And he tells somebody in the crew, "Go punch that guy in the face really hard."
There was a lot of those guys. There was a lot of big actors in that movie.
Yeah.
There was, yeah. But that I thought was like one of the funniest scenes. too.
Yeah.
Do you like comedies or do you prefer drama or
I like all kinds of film.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
who's your favorite actors?
There's a couple. Let's see.
Who should I watch? Who should I watch? Be like, wow, this guy's amazing.
Well, Bobby Manzano is one of them.
There you go, right there. What was I thinking?
Free plug. All right. Let's see. Robert Downey Jr. Let's see. Who else? He was in The Green Book. He was also in Lord of the Rings.
Oh man,
I'm trying to think of his
Ryan.
His name escapes me right now.
We'll plug it in later. No problem.
Yeah, it'll come back to me. But he's become an actor I really like too. Let's see who else.
How about let's see, Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo.
I'm impressed.
Titanic.
I'm impressed with the stuff he came out because when I first saw him in Titanic,
Yeah.
I thought he would just simply play those love interest type of characters. But then seeing him in other roles like Wolf of Wall Street,
Oh, that was a good movie.
It's my favorite movie.
I'm impressed by his work too.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad he finally
Ti-
got himself an Oscar.
Titanic
Yeah.
was good too, though. He was great in Titanic too.
Yeah. That's what put Leonardo on the map, right?
For sure.
I don't understand why it took him so long to get an Oscar. I think Leonardo is probably one of the best actors out there.
Yeah.
He has so many great movies. Speaking of all your favorite actors, what's your opinion on what does it take to be a good actor in your eyes?
That's a good question. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is someone that's able to take direction. They can listen to the director. Someone that can be cooperative, but also someone that can make their own decisions with the role and just go with it, and to have a lot of energy. Now, I guess so many people will have so many different broad answers of what makes someone a good actor, but I guess that's the most basic answer I could come up with.
Yeah. What a good actor is.
Right, and even if someone is a quote-unquote good actor, doesn't mean that they might be getting work, or at least the amount of work that they'd want.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many talented people out there. You even hear like in the Chicagoland area.
Who's hot right now in the Chicagoland area?
Well,
Besides Bobby Manzano.
well, I guess if he gets the chance to watch this, one director that I've gotten to work with just recently, his name's Randy Beasley.
He's a director?
Yeah, he's a director and actor. He's got a web series called Mental State, spelled M3NTAL State. Got to work with him. So, I mean, there's just a handful of since being in this industry, I've got to network and just meet all these different talented people. Taking classes with them, being in films with them, and then just exchanging our info on social media. I mean, if I were to list a bunch of people to give shout outs to, maybe I'd be here for a little while. But I'll say this, is that there's just so many talented people out there that I really hope that they do well, that they continue to pursue their craft. And
it's a tough business for sure. I mean, think about how many people end up in LA hoping to hit it big and lose themselves over there. I mean, it's a difficult, like everything else, right? I mean, everything is highly competitive. But acting, I think it's probably at the very peak of it for sure, because you probably have to have the right look at the right time too, is another thing too, right? Some people probably play better older, like what was The Godfather?
Martin Brando.
Yeah,
Brando, right.
I'll always remember him as that.
As The Godfather.
Yeah, as The Godfather.
Scarface, Al Pacino.
Yeah,
Like all the other movies he played, but it's like,
Great.
no, that's Scarface.
Yeah, you're Scarface.
Yeah, and then it's, what's weird that you brought that up? It's like every other movie I watch Al Pacino in, and he doesn't do the accent, I'm like, this is weird. Because like I always expect him to talk like
Who?
Scarface.
So you always
My
expecting
little
that, right?
Yeah, I'm always waiting for him to pull out an assault rifle, But
Manolo.
yeah, so it's definitely a tough business. So where you're at, you just explained to us where you're at in your acting career. Where would you like to see yourself in your acting career in, let's say, 5 to 10 years from now?
5 to 10 years. There's times where I thought I'd like to relocate. I entertained the idea, the goal of relocating to Los Angeles, but I guess somewhat leaking into another topic. When it comes to my family, with Dad's this past year when he had his stroke and passed away, just being an only child, and I thought I just got to be there for Mom. It would be I felt like more of a sacrifice to relocate. So going back to your question of in 10 years, may or may not be in Illinois, but if I am, it's still something I'm still going to pursue here, and just continue to work on my craft. And just be a better performer.
Yeah.
Just learn more. Just continue to keep learning. And
I kind of have some good news for you, Bobby. because I don't think it's just LA anymore. Now with the internet, I mean, everything is game now. Look, I mean, literally, we're filming something in my basement.
Dude, maybe we could shoot a movie down here. Maybe you could
No.
show us some.
When are we gonna have time for that, Ryan?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a different era. I mean, I think LA was the hub because that's where all the major production companies were. But now with the internet, I mean, not that it's very similar, but you have a shot at doing something with yourself if you know how to market yourself correctly, especially online, right? So I don't think you have to move, Bobby. Good news.
I think he just wants to go to LA.
LA is
man.
beautiful. LA is beautiful.
I was back there in 2016, and something being there, houses on the hills, the palm trees, the weather, going down the Hollywood Boulevard and seeing all those stars. It feels like this magical place, this paradise. But then again, I was just there for vacation. I hear things otherwise, and I guess I get a hint of it because sometimes I'll talk to someone who used to be out there. One person was sharing with me about how they were in a bad apartment and that they had issues with their landlord, and cost of living out there is pretty high.
Right.
I remember checking on Craigslist, seeing how some apartments were around 800, but then a lot of them ended up being well over 1,000. And I thought, man, I don't know if I can afford to live out there, but if I do find a way, I got to make sure I got to have a good income.
Yeah.
Find some work outside of acting, because those gigs come and they're can be far and in between. But from what I understand, that most people out, even out there too, especially, is that only 2% are working actors, where they're just making it their bread and butter. Well, a lot of them are working tables. They're having
do anything to
day
make
jobs.
yeah. Don't you think though that might harden you? That struggle, right? I mean, it puts some serious pressure on you. And if you're, I mean, I know we don't want to be put in that situation, but I mean, that's how diamonds are formed too, right? Extreme pressure.
Right. When it comes to that friction, that resistance, that shapes us, because with any kind of, I guess what you call like a worthwhile goal, there's going to be resistance. Whether it's being an actor, singer, realtor, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
all these things, like you're going to have your obstacles, and if you come to an obstacle and you're not trying to figure out a way how to move beyond that obstacle, do problem solving, you're not going to progress forward. You're not going to learn. So some might be more difficult than others, but I think something that matures us and shapes us are hardships and obstacles. These things aren't simply just meant to cause us pain, but I think those things are put in our play in front of us to shape us.
Absolutely. That's why you need to embrace the struggle, right? As long as it's not life or death, I mean, you're good. You're
Right.
fine.
Right. I mean, it's to think that everything's just going to be a walk in the park. That's unrealistic.
Check this out. MJ's story would not be as great as it is if he didn't struggle to accomplish his goals.
It's a good example.
Yeah.
He didn't make it. There was a time where he didn't make his high school team, right?
Yeah, I actually have a what do you call that? A poster?
Poster, plaque, portrait.
Could you read it,
something
Ryan?
on the wall.
Could your young eyes read that?
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've It's glary.
I failed over and over
I failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed.
because we fail.
Boom.
Boom.
Throw the sprinkle on it.
I'm gonna do the salt pave.
That meme. That's hilarious.
Classic. He's catching a lot of hate now. I think his stuff is great.
Who?
Who? Michael Jordan?
No,
Or
that's his name, right? Salt Babe.
Salt Babe? You're asking the wrong
Salt Bae?
person. Soapies?
What?
Isn't that
You know
what
what I'm talking
eat?
about, right?
Soapies?
Sopes? Oh yeah, those are good, man. Stop making me hungry.
Hey,
You're always hungry.
I know.
I remember that actor's name now, Viggo Mortensen.
There you go.
That person that was in Lord of the Rings and Green Book. That he's a very talented guy.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. All right, but
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insert.
Insert here.
got it. But yeah, it's a great example. I mean, you look at him, and if you look up all those success stories, there was struggle. They didn't get everything handed out to them like on a silver platter. That's just not how it works.
Right.
And if there's anything I could tell people that are struggling out there, trying to pursue some sort of goal, also like, in the entertainment industry or whatever it might be, you got to keep pressing forward. It's almost, I guess, what you call like life 101. You never give up.
Never give up. That's it. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. That's simple.
Right. I mean, we got to continue to grow. We got to learn, and we don't let these things discourage us. We just keep moving.
Yeah.
Got to keep moving forward.
So Bobby is I think you're the person that I've known that's had the most jobs. You have had a lot of different jobs, which I'm interested in talking about.
Okay.
Right after our break.
Please.
Mr. Clayton, it's time to wake up. It's time to eat. Mr. Clayton? Mr. Clayton? Get away from me!
What's going on?
I woke him up, baby.
Who are you? I don't know.
I really like the podcast. My mindset behind it too. Everything you said, I totally agree with. I really like to learn. I mean, I'm not an actor. I never, pursued an acting career, but I can take a lot of information that we talked about and put it into my business and in my lifestyle. And I am studying real estate. I'm studying a whole bunch of stuff, podcasting, and just by having a conversation with you, I guess it kind of sounds a little selfish, right? I'm benefiting from our,
No, that's what we all are doing.
from your knowledge, though. But I think that's one of the things that I get out of it as well too. I feel like we're gonna get to learn a lot about other people and their talents, and just gaining a bunch of knowledge is what I'm excited about. I learned a lot about acting today, so.
Speaking of learning how to act, I have that course, masterclass.
Yeah, with who's that guy? Martin Scorsese. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He's a director, though, right?
Yeah, he's a director. Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's directing that Joker movie.
Is he?
No.
Oh,
I think
then
he's
it's
the
gonna
one.
be. Then it's gonna
It's gonna
be
be
a
a
hit.
It's gonna be a hit.
I think he's the one. I got to double check.
Man, we're gonna
His
have to.
production is sick.
Oh, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
dark. It's so dark.
Yeah.
Real dark.
I'm afraid to watch it. I might not be able to go to sleep.
Well, I was gonna go to the I was gonna go to the premiere.
Are you gonna bring Aiden?
No, you can't take Aiden in.
Why
there.
not?
He's a little baby, man. They're gonna kick us out. They're gonna shut that kid up.
Oh my god!
And then-
Didn't they just kick a lady off of the airplane for her baby crying?
For real?
Yeah,
That's terrible.
I'm pretty sure.
Some kids are just crybabies. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Some kids are good. So yeah, I was telling you that Bobby has had a bunch of jobs. I mean, I've known you as a salesman. I've known you as a telemarketer, an EMT. Fill me in. How many were there?
Yeah, you listed a good chunk of them. Worked as a security guard, I've been a barista.
What's a barista?
That's someone that makes the coffees at Starbucks.
Oh, okay.
Bobby, you should have told me. We got some coffee upstairs. Can you make me
Yeah, if you got the cappuccino machine, I could.
Caramel macchiato?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
What's the secret to that thing, man? That's everybody's coffee. That's their go-to.
Yeah, I remember making those. Just getting the cup in and hearing that fizz, that sizzle.
Ooh, nothing like that sound, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Yep.
So barista, telemarketer.
So
So you were a telemarketer? Were you the guy that what were you calling people for? What were you bugging them about?
So one of them was asking for support for police unions. So
Okay.
if you got somebody calling you about the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, that
I don't think I had
That's
that
some-
one yet.
that was one of mine.
I am sorry to interrupt. I just have a question
Okay.
because I always think about this. Is it a scam?
It's,
Are you allowed to disclose this stuff?
it's not, but get this though, because you know how there's a price when it comes to, the call center, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Overhead.
Right. There's overhead. There's a lot to be paid. So I'll say this is that, like, let's say that you're going to be contributing $15, $30. Not a whole lot of that is going to go to the Fraternal Order Police. But the thing is, though, those unions, they agree to it. I mean, that's what they're willing to take.
They need money.
Yeah. So like they may not get much, but that's the good source of getting their support.
Yeah.
And then you got those people that are saying that I'd rather give it directly to the Fraternal Order of Police, and there's not much of a rebuttal for that.
Yeah.
So then
Well,
those were
Now with the internet, straight to source.
Yeah.
Right? No middlemen.
yeah,
Straight to source.
right,
Yeah. That's how Amazon hit,
right.
right?
That's
Yeah,
why-
so what else? You were a door-to-door salesman too, weren't you?
yeah. So sold stuff.
Oh,
I remember I sold
man.
stuff to like you and your folks before.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of stuff did you sell us?
It was like barbecue sets.
Did it work?
Yeah, they were. Well, from what I heard though, is
Yeah.
that
Who'd you hear this from?
from somebody I sold a barbecue set from was that it went bad after a short while. I think it rusted right away. So I guess some of the stuff that we might have been selling might have been somewhat defect. Some of it might have been defective,
Yeah.
where it just was not the best quality.
Yeah.
But for like $10 and $15,
What can you expect, right?
Dang, what kind of barbecue set were you selling? $15.
right? It was included like a skewer and some thongs.
Tongs?
Yeah.
Some thongs.
Tongs. I'll take
Yeah.
the H out. Tongs.
I call them thongs too.
Yeah, that's
So,
what that's
it's
what
funny.
I thought they were called that. That's what I guess I call them too. So there was that, and there was some other set that came like in kind of like a briefcase, like a little set, like with little tools and stuff. So,
So,
Okay.
so you went door to door with this thing?
right from business to business, we would
Business
go,
to business.
go like these.
What's the worst story you got? Because me and Ryan have a good one.
The worst story.
Story,
Yeah.
the door to door thing.
I mean, it's. I mean, yours was probably maybe as bad as mine. I mean, you got people that just won't even let you like do your pitch, and they'll say, "No soliciting, get out of here," and yeah, and that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead, Ryan. Tell him your
like, I
story.
gotta hear this. Okay.
Well, first of all, I don't know what story you're talking about, but every single
The one that we got kicked off and he was gonna call the police on us.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the lady with the cell phone and the kids. But
Oh, yeah, that one's a bad one,
but the
too.
cell phone. Our very first door knock. That was our very first door knock, wasn't it?
Was it?
So we knocked on a house that was a tax delinquent property, and we were trying to contact them through the phone. They weren't answering. They were going to lose the property because they were delinquent on their property taxes. So we just wanted to stop by and knock on the door, see if we could, help them out. And Junior knocks on the door and nothing, right? And then this guy walks behind the driveway and he's just like staring at us. And he's like, "What do you guys want?" Because he was
defensive right away.
He was defensive right away, but he knew what we were there for, because we weren't the only people trying to get into contact with him, obviously. He's like, "I'm going to give you guys 3 seconds to get off my property or I'm going to call the cops." And as soon as he said that, I turned and I started walking. I'm like, I don't want no problems. I didn't even want to knock on this door. This was like our first time door knocking. This must have been 4 years ago or something. I was scared, right? Who's this guy with no facial hair? He's like 18 years old. He can't buy my house, And then so I'm walking, right? And then I turn around and Ralphie's still freaking there and he's like trying to talk to this guy, and he's like, "Get off of my lawn. I swear I thought this guy was gonna pull out a like shotgun or something. I was scared for Junior's life. I'm like, "Dude, let's go." Yeah. And then he's like, "All right." And then he finally left. And I'm like, "Dude, that for being our first time door knocking, I mean, that has to like, that didn't go well the next few doors we had to knock on, because I thought it was gonna be worse. I was like, "Oh, this is normal, right? Like every other freaking one must be worse, like what are we gonna get ourselves into?" But
there's some nice people out there.
Yeah, I really thought something was gonna happen there. So luckily we got out safe and sound.
Numbers game, right? You get a little bit of everybody.
Right? Yeah.
And
we met some cool people too, though.
Yeah, real nice people.
Yeah, real nice people.
I actually had a contact in Naperville. Super nice house, super nice family, and I think I wrote down the wrong address. This is when I first got my license.
Sorry.
So I could never find it.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So you did door to door then, and then you did some telemarketing too?
Right, done telemarketing. Now that we're discussing this, I had my side gigs too.
Yeah, what were you doing?
So I've delivered food with Postmates, DoorDash, and so those two. Oh, and I've also delivered alcohol with this app, Saucy.
Saucy. Wait, hold on. So delivering alcohol is a thing now?
Yes, Saucy. So you can download that app, and
no way.
I haven't delivered. I only delivered them for one day because it just seems so intense. Because they would. So get this, like you'd station yourself at like a store, like some liquor store, and then you'd pick up 5 orders at a time, and then get all those orders, and like I felt like I was driving around like a maniac trying to get these orders in on time, and two reasons I only delivered for them for one day. Number one,
it was only one day.
I only delivered for them for just one day, and I haven't.
It must have been crazy then.
Yes, it sure was. So, so the 2 reasons I haven't delivered for them is because number one, it was just so much work delivering all those orders at once, because you get all those stacked orders, like up to 5 different orders of alcohol, and that was too much for me. I even made, that's one of my YouTube videos. Delivering for Sauce.
I think the only thing I'd be scared about is you're constantly probably meeting drunk people, right?
That was reason number 2.
People are already drunk.
So you weren't doing B2B. It was if I wanted a 12 case of beer, I would just send it to Saucy and then you drop it off.
Right, you'd order it on your app, and I would be one of those people that would deliver it to you.
Wow.
And that was like the other reason that I didn't want to do this anymore is because I knew one of the people I was delivering to was intoxicated. I could smell the alcohol on him, and I just felt, man, this doesn't feel so right, because this guy's already intoxicated. As far as I know, this guy might be an alcoholic. I'm just feeding this guy's addiction. But I guess that's kind of
that too.
Yeah. And I guess that's how it's like to perhaps be a bartender sometimes too. But then bartenders know that there's a limit to how much they can give. I mean, not being a bartender myself, but I thought to myself, man, I'm just contributing to some people's addiction.
Yeah. So how do they do that? I mean, like, I'm sure they're paying for it through their card, like an Uber the app.
Through the app.
But it's like, is there a limit? Like, is there a cutoff? Like, can you hit the Saucy app? Like, hey, you only get 5 times, man. Like, or like, do they have like a breathalyzer thing on there or something? Like,
Oh, that'd be good.
That, from what I recall, no. That's, I guess, what concerned me too. So there was that rule, is that we're delivering it to someone that's 21, and it's the person's name of that person, of who's getting that order.
so they have to show their ID when you drop it off.
Right. It's got to be that person. So to make sure that we're not giving it to someone that's underage.
Yeah. So do you have to have special requirements for you distributing it? Like, do you have to take classes, or anybody could just? So I could just be a delinquent and be like, shit, I'm gonna just sell it to all my buddies and just.
I think I might have had a background check, but or might not. But it was just like an app that you can download. I went to like an orientation, and that was about it.
That's not even that scary. They're dropping off something to your house. How about Uber? You're going in that person's car. Is there background checks on them?
I believe so. Or maybe not. But
Can you just put like a Uber sign in front of your car?
that's what's scary, because I think it was about a week ago, and these stories are getting more common, is that there's people out there that are imitating Uber or Lyft drivers, and then they end up being not being them, and then they end up killing the passengers. But it goes both ways too. It's like vice versa. There've been terrible drivers and terrible passengers.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the dark side of the gig economy when it comes to, at least like with rideshare, is you don't know who you're getting in the car with, and you don't know who you're picking up.
Yeah.
And I was like on one of those Facebook pages for rideshare, and even though I haven't done rideshare for a long time, I'd see sometimes people posting up about how they felt like their life was being threatened, and they would stop giving rides for the night. Like, oh, look, my night's over. I'm not giving any more rides after like this person was kicking my back seat and threatening me.
That's crazy.
But most passengers, I mean, from my experience, like doing Lyft, I just gave shy over 100 rides. I gave about 116 or 117.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the 100's one of the milestones, I suppose.
Okay.
But I was driving mostly just during the day, except this one time where if you're going to be a rideshare driver, don't try to pick up anybody after a Cubs game gets out.
Oh,
it's
geez.
downright impossible, because I was like circling on they close off streets after a Cubs game gets off, and I'm trying to circle around this one block trying to get to somebody, and the guy just gets frustrated and then just cancels the ride with me. But then somebody else that got off the Cubs game picked up, but then I happened to be right in the area.
Yeah.
Was able to pick him up.
Oh, sweet.
And then I was able to get further away from that Cubs game. But after that, I stayed clear of Wrigley Field.
So on your side gigs, which one has the greatest possibility of making the most money?
It might have been the Uber or Lyft, but it's something I didn't prefer doing, because I preferred delivering food versus having strangers in my car.
Okay.
There were some days where I thought to myself, yeah, I could make some good money tonight. This area seems hot. It looks on the map. The map's red, or from what I remember, yeah, that's how it was, like on the app. But I thought to myself, do I want to have strangers in my car tonight? Nah. I think I'd just rather deliver food.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a little selfish real quick. It sounds
Okay.
like a lot of your side gigs dealt with a car. For tax purposes, do you write the mileage off? So it's obviously been tax season, right? Or taxes just came up or whatever. Can you give me some advice on the best app or software to track mileage? And, for my taxes, because as realtors, we need to write that down.
So what do you got to do, guys? Download the Stride app.
Stride?
Stride.
I'm going to download it right now.
So what you do is that you turn it on when you're driving to a location to and from, and then like calculates the mileage, and then
Is it GPS tracked?
right. So that
No brainer.
right. So then you just download that app. It So I use that for all my delivery stuff.
That's awesome.
And also like when I did the little bit of the rideshare stuff too, and went to my H&R Block and made that tax representative's job easy. Just gave him the app and just was able to like just show the mileage and get to get that write off.
So what do you enjoy most as far as your gigs? I know that you're doing some you're doing some telemarketing now?
So I haven't done necessarily my side gigs in a while now since doing what I'm currently doing. I left my day job at this credit card processing company, and this is my first week, what I was telling you before, where I'm doing just customer service from home.
Awesome, man.
And it's through this Arise platform, and the website is ariseworkfromhome.com, and you can do customer service for a number of different big name companies. I'm not allowed to disclose publicly what those companies are, but I'll just kind of give you a hint as to what my first one is that I'm currently doing still now is I make dining reservations for a theme park in Orlando, Florida, for a company that rhymes with busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have some stock in that said company, and they just announced that they're going to having a streaming service.
Okay, I think we gave too much away now.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't say the name of it.
I didn't say the name.
We're all
I didn't say the
good.
name.
Okay,
We're all good.
But there's a streaming service coming to this mystical company in Orlando.
So you took the big leap of faith, man.
Congratulations, Bobby.
Congratulations. So why did you take the big leap of faith? Why? So why do you want to work for yourself?
I like the flexibility, just creating my own schedule, being my own boss. I think it's pretty neat. Just working for myself. I like the freedom.
The freedom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so being an entrepreneur it's kind of hot right now, right? But the truth of it is it's pretty tough. It's not easy. Right, Bobby? I mean,
I'd say so. So this being my first week, I just realized, man, I'm like I'd be at home all day just working, and I just want to leave the house. So I'd give myself a little break and go to the nearest Barnes & Noble bookstore just to hang out there for a little bit, just to get out of the house. Because there were a few days during this week where I was just home all day and just sitting down, taking those phone calls for customer service for the 2 clients I got. And I thought, man, it's like this whole day went by and didn't even have to leave home. And I'm definitely saving up on gas.
yeah.
But it'd be nice to just get
Get
up
out.
and get out.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a minor downside to it.
Yeah.
Just being at home so much. But hey, I mean, it's convenience. I mean, I remember specifically this past Monday, watching the news and they were talking about the traffic and how there was like a car pile up of some sort, like on the expressway, and I thought, don't have to deal with that.
Great sleet or snow. I'm not going out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also too, with the gas tax or the new gas law too. So
Terrible.
that's not passed yet, but that's something in the making. So that'd be another good reason for Illinoisans to take the big leap of faith, like Bobby over here.
Right. I mean, that's the advantage. I mean, not to say that I didn't enjoy times like doing like the food delivery, but it's great to know that I'm not putting all the miles, the wear and tear on my car. But one of the last delivery jobs I was doing is delivering groceries with Shipped, and I like doing that. Like the tips were probably the most high with that. I mean, I think I might be doing a few of my side gigs just to get out of the house.
You did. You were delivering groceries.
Right.
So where do you think that the grocery store business is going? Do you think Jewel Osco is going to get closed down, and you think everybody's going to be delivering groceries? Where do you think?
Well, the thing is, though, when we're delivering groceries, they're coming from.
You're going to the grocery store.
We're going
right?
to the grocery store, so they're not losing business that way. I think if anything, it's a benefit for them because so with that Shipped app, I was going into Myers, and I was going into Target. So, if anything, I think it's helping bring them business. And what I liked about it too is that some of the people that use that Shipped app to have groceries delivered to their home, I would find out when I would get there that they were disabled. So we're providing a good service.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I just thought about this, Ryan. It really, I think it could either be a third party, a delivery company, which is what was that company called? Shipped.
Yep.
Or do you think it could get down to where like Jewel Osco has their own delivery drivers? Do you know what I'm saying? And if it's local, then let's say the Jewel Osco has a 2 mile range deliveries, 2 mile range. That subdivision belongs to a different Jewel Osco, and then if you happen to shop at Jewel Osco, it will be able to deliver your groceries. What do you think?
Well, I think what's going to happen is that is just going to get cut off, and I think Amazon's going to take over the whole entire world.
This
And
guy's in love with Jeff Bezos.
I think what's going to happen is your Samsung refrigerator, you're just going to tell it to order your TV dinners, and it's just going to be at the front door. Where that's going to come from is going to be an Amazon warehouse, and that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. The debate is people still like the experience of walking around in the grocery store,
Right.
Which is understandable. But then there's the other people. Look now, the world's crazy. A lot of people are, scared to go out of their homes and stuff like that. And then not even you're scared to go out of home, but it's like you could literally do everything at a click of a button. I bought deodorant this morning off of Amazon. I bought toothpaste off of Amazon. It's like, well, one is I'm also so busy. I just don't have the time to go to the store.
I hear it every day from this guy.
It's just convenient. At the end of the day, that's where the world's going. You always want to innovate on how to make somebody's life better at the end of the day, and that's what Amazon's doing. And if Walmart and Jewel can't get on top of it, they're gonna get cut off.
Wiped out.
That's just my opinion.
That woman who was like, her last name's not Kardashian, but she's related to the Kardashians. What's her name?
Oh, you're talking about Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, she's the richest woman in the world.
The
right now?
self-made billionaire. Self-made. Put it in bold. Self-made.
She really self-made, or was it inherited, right?
No, she actually got it off of her makeup, and she did not pay $1 for any ads, and it was all off Instagram. And the reason I was saying self-made is because everyone is like, that's bullshit, it's not self-made, blah, 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 blah.
What are you guys talking about?
Kylie Jenner being the first self-made female billionaire.
So she had a huge platform. Huge. She was part of the Lucky Sperm Club.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. Hey, my parents didn't have a reality show.
It's okay. They already did have an audience, but she took what she had.
She made it great.
And she
did. She marketed herself well.
What about everyone else? Like, there's people that were born into wealthy families and they didn't do shit with it.
That's true. I don't know who MJ's kids are. Right? They could have made something big of themselves.
Which MJ? Every time you say MJ, I don't know if you're talking about Michael Jordan,
Figure it out, Ryan.
Michael Jackson.
Figure it out. It's the great one.
Oh.
That one.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Alright.
Because I still don't know who you're talking
The
about.
icon. The icon.
They're both icons.
Remaining ambiguous here.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jeez.
Anyways.
Anywho.
So she's the first self-made billionaire? Or the youngest billionaire?
Self-made female billionaire off Instagram, makeup selling. You bought her freaking makeup palette right there. Put it up. Show it. That's the Kylie Jenner pack right there. The makeup
Kylie
palette.
That's
Jenner.
it right there.
The mascara.
Oh wow.
Show it.
That's it right here, guys. $100 for
What
this.
is that?
Wow.
For real, what is that?
I'm not sure. It's a color checker for cameras. Make sure that we got all the colors correct.
For anybody that doesn't know, Ralphie is the guy behind the scenes that puts all of this together, the cuts, the edits, the late nights on Final Cut. He made us freaking buy this Kylie Jenner palette that's supposed to color grade because I guess he's bald and he has a lot of acne or something like that. Is that what you were saying?
No, I was just trying to get the colors correct. But you know what? I haven't even used this really because I've been, and I'm going to use the excuse, I've been so busy that I haven't looked into.
Busy doing what?
A lot of stuff.
Like what?
Being a dad, being a realtor, being a host of your podcast. And
Host of my podcast.
yeah. And I still have family.
You know what? It sounds like you're just whining. It actually sounds like you're an entrepreneur. And what great topic to talk about entrepreneurship with Mr. Bobby Manzano.
Bobby Manzano.
The first week of entrepreneurship, man. Tell us a little bit about, you already told us that you took the big leap of faith, and you said, you kind of told us a little bit about how your first week was going. Kind of project us on where you think it's going and what you want to do with your entrepreneurship.
Well, right now, I'd like to improve on this one other client I have. And like I said before, I can't specifically say who they are. The other client I do customer service for, they sell major appliances and some general merchandise too. Some hardware, tools, things like that. And when it comes to this, customer service, each client will have their own kind of system and their own kind of policies. So one of my goals is just continue to improve on my knowledge and my skills with that client. Just continue to make an income. Just continue to do a good job. I'm doing fairly well, and right now I'm with an IBO, an independent business owner, and I'm the part of their virtual call center. Maybe I'll branch out on my own and have my own virtual call center and become an IBO. But right now I'm just glad to just be a customer service rep, working alongside an IBO right now, independent business owner.
So what makes good customer service? I mean, I know that we know bad customer service when we get it. What makes it good customer service?
What makes good customer service? One is that you're listening to the customer, or that you're listening to the guest, hearing their needs. That's one. Two is that you're working to resolve issues, resolve problems. Let's say like somebody calls in for a dining reservation, right? And then saying about how they're looking for a dining reservation at a particular place, and they had to cancel their old one because they can't make that date. So you make sure that you look for the desired dining location that they want, instead of just canceling their previous dining reservation, so they're not left empty-handed, without a place to eat. So making sure you get the place where they want to eat, and at the time and with the right amount of guests. Right. So just helping meet their needs.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's pretty much what we're all doing, right? We're serving somebody of a certain need that they have. I'm gonna put you on the spot. You don't have to answer this, but
Okay.
I'm curious on your thoughts to this. Is the customer always right?
Not always, right?
What?
Right. So there was this time where, and it wasn't entirely their fault either, because they were misinformed. They were told that they would get free shipping for this one item. So they it was their second call to the company, and then they just saw like on their billing statement, they were told that they would get free shipping. But then they noticed that like they were charged for shipping. So what I did, since they were misinformed, I waived their shipping fee. I did a price markdown, and had that shipping fee, that $15 or whatever it might have been, waived, and then like it was credited back to them. So that's just because they were told otherwise. So it was a very simple thing to do.
Yeah, took care of it.
Took care of it. Yeah.
Oh,
Then
nice.
it comes down to customer satisfaction, because for a business, and I think we can all agree on this, is that a business is nothing without its customers.
Absolutely.
You can replace a CEO, but customers, they can take their business elsewhere.
That's very true.
Whatever it might be. So if someone can get a cheeseburger anywhere, if they don't like the service at a restaurant, they'll go get their cheeseburger or their steak or their salmon somewhere else. They don't have to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if the food is on point, like A1, like, oh yeah, this is like my favorite steak, and then you just have that one time where it's like, this guy treated me like shit, and then it's like, hey, I'm not going here anymore.
I'm gonna call somebody out, man. I used to love Applebee's, and we went to Applebee's.
Always thinking about food, man.
I'm hungry.
You're always hungry.
Yeah, and their service is terrible, and
Is it every single Applebee's?
Everywhere.
Okay,
everywhere.
First of all, there's probably 2 Applebee's in all of Chicagoland area.
Now there was a bunch of them, but no, listen, it's not even in Chicago.
Do you think that's why they're gone now? Oh, it's everywhere?
We went down to Florida, and it was terrible there.
Dude, food outside of Illinois is terrible everywhere, so that's not a good statistic.
Okay, great, but the Applebee's in Florida was terrible. There was
The
like
food, right?
everything. I think there was flies in one of the drinks or something. It was
That
like
bad.
terrible.
Did you drink it? How does fly?
It was Vanessa's drink, so
Ugh.
Oh, so you
I
just-
asked for a new one.
Oh, if it was yours, you'd keep it?
Whatever.
It's just a fly.
It's not a big deal. I've probably eaten worse.
What's the worst thing you ate?
Nothing disgusting. Else I wouldn't eat it. But something that's some people consider disgusting. That's awesome. Is lengua. You ever had lengua?
I love tongue tacos.
There you go.
I like the texture.
There you go. What?
Yeah.
You're weird.
Mm.
I like it too, though.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I love tongue tacos.
How about
What
some
does tongue taste like?
tongue? What? Describe, Bobby.
It's just a soft kind of beef. It's
Soft.
I could just imagine just biting into it, tastes like this.
Somebody's bad breath. That's what it tastes like. No, I'm just joking.
You could throw some Listerine on the tacos.
it's I imagine the best way I can describe it's like this: if you take some beef and you boil it for a long time till it's soft.
Oh,
kind
that
of
is
how it is.
so weird. I could just imagine it tastes like
So
your own
good.
tongue.
So good.
It's weird. It's like throwing some hot sauce on your tongue right now and just biting on it.
Yeah.
Well, if you were to eat one of those and no one were to tell you it's tongue, you would just think it's just like another piece of beef.
Like fatty, probably, right? Like a.
No, it's not fatty. It's not fatty at all, is it?
Well, it's not
I don't
fatty,
think it
but he
is.
said it's like
There's
probably be like
it-
rubbery.
No, it's not.
not even rubbery. It's just softer.
You know what you got to do, Bobby? You got to take this guy to a Mexican joint and get us
It
some
better be the best freaking.
tacos de lengua.
I don't know, man.
But hit us up, guys. If you guys know the best lengua spot for Ryan, let us know. We're going to take this guy and get him some lengua.
I'm
Bobby.
not gonna be like you, like 2 weeks ago, where you're food poisoning, throwing
Terrible.
up your brains out or anything.
Yeah,
like
we'll
that.
Yelp this one. We'll Yelp it.
Did you guys ever get food poisoning from eating cow tongue?
No.
That's what it is. It's cow, right?
Yeah, it's cow tongue.
So do you guys like eat pig tongues and
No,
horse
pig
tongues,
I eat pig ears.
pig ears?
Carnitas come with pig ears, and cuerito, which is what is it? Pork skin.
Pork skin. Oh, pork rinds.
Yeah.
So if I have had carnitas, chances are I've already had some pig's ear.
No, not in the carnitas, but it's like you can add it on to
That's the thing that you were out there like whipping, right? With the butter turner.
Yeah, yeah. We gotta make
That's
some carnitas this summer.
Oh, you should do it for Aiden's birthday. Oh,
That's a lot of work, man.
So are you gonna get a mariachi or what?
I don't know. Are you gonna deliver or what?
I want a tambarazo.
Tamborazo. Let's do a tamborazo.
I'll get it.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're talking about Bobby and his gigs or whatever. I wanted to ask you because I know you've done some cold calling too, right?
Right.
Oh,
So Ryan and
my
I,
heart's already beating.
I know. So Ryan and I, we besides door knocking, we also cold call, and we found that it's probably one of the most difficult things to do. First, you have to control your state of mind. You need to be in a positive mood, and then you're hoping not to encounter somebody that just so happens to be having a bad day to ruin your mood. But what's your experience with that? Do you prefer incoming? Obviously, probably.
Thing is, I'm fine with both. So get this, like I did the cold calling for the credit card processing company I was working with, but I think it was easier because I was calling businesses where they're generally supposed to be just professional. You're not going to encounter somebody it's unlikely to encounter somebody rude on the phone because they want to have that maintain that professionalism because they're representing their business. But if you're calling a homes, that's another story.
Yeah.
That you got people who are more likely to be rude. But something that I was able to take away from whenever it came to any kind of cold calling work I've done is that you just don't take it personally because to them, you're just a voice on the phone. And number two, be energetic, be positive, because who wants to buy some product like a vacuum cleaner or whatever it is from somebody that's going to have a monotone voice like, "Hi, is this Mr. Johnson? Hi, Mr. Johnson. I'd like to talk to you about..."
Click.
Yeah. It's by that. It won't even let you get to the pitch. If you don't have that energy, you got to get excited about the product. You got to believe in what you're pitching, what you're selling.
So would you recommend... So when do you make your cold calls?
So when I last made my cold calls at the credit card processing company, it was during the day.
Like more morning, afternoon, or
Morning. So my part-time schedule, one of my schedules was like working from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's like during the business hours. I was calling businesses.
okay.
Right. But I've done some cold calls before, when like asking for the support for, those police unions. I'd be calling during night, in the afternoons and evenings when people would be home.
So you were calling B2B, so you obviously know how to get past the gatekeeper.
Right. So when it came to like credit card processing company, and the company I was working for was Matrix Payment Systems over in Hoffman Estates. But anyways, getting past the gatekeeper, I'd simply say, ask for accounts receivable. And then usually they'd send me over there. But then if they'd ask the question, what's in this call regards to, I'd be open and honest with them. I'd just say, I'm just looking to share info to the person who handles credit card processing. Are they available? And then, either they'd direct me over there or they'd say, or I can help you. And sometimes like small businesses, so that I'd be talking to this person that wears all the hats. And I'd just get the basic information. All I needed to know was, do they process credit cards? How do they process them? And on average on a month, like how much what's their monthly credit card volume? Is it above or below $20,000 a month? That's all I needed to know. And then I'd say, we'll have someone follow up with you and we'll send you the email and just have a nice day. That's all it was.
So when you were working at this company, I'm sure there were some real successful people there, right?
Right. So there was folks like me that would be what was called phase one, where we would get the basic info, get what's called these fact finders. And then it would go to phase two that would make appointments for the salespeople. Okay. And then phase three, so then like at phase three, that's where like people that work were the salespeople. they're the ones that would work to close the deal, or like try to like warm them up further. It's like making a deal in the future. So the way things were at that company that I was last at it, like there were different phases where we're not going to sell them right off the bat. We're just finding out if they'd be, would be a good
Warming
fit.
them up.
Right. Warming them up, seeing if they're a good fit. Because if they made in monthly credit card volume less than 5,000, we wouldn't pursue it because it just wouldn't be good for either one of us.
Yeah.
But if it was at least 5,000 and up, especially if it was over 20,000, we would just continue to pursue it. Right?
Obviously, you were on commission, right?
I was paid hourly. Plus, there was like the way the structure worked was if we got a certain amount of fact finders, there'd be a bonus. So the way it worked, there was a bit of transition. We had under some a new manager, and she was able to implement this where if we were able to get at least 2 fact finders an hour, we would be paid we'd be paid double of like of how much those fact finders. So like it's for 2 it would be $2 extra per hour per fact finder if you get 2 an hour. But if it was just 1 an hour, which is fairly easy to do, that's what I ended up getting at least. You'd get that bonus of like $1 per fact finder.
Who was when those guys that were who was the top producers? How many were they doing an hour?
Well, the thing is like it was a small office there in Hoffman Estates. I wasn't always the top person getting the fact finders. It was usually like someone else.
Okay.
But there's times where I'd be up there.
Sweet. Good job, Bobby.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But it was fairly it was repetitive and somewhat easy. I mean, you're just getting facts.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I have a question to ask you. Why do you think that being a salesman or the word salesman gets such a bad rap?
Because they're trying to sell something, and people are just under the impression that's all they really want to do. I mean, it's the main goal, right? To close that deal, get that pay, make that money. But I think they get a bad rep because people expect them to be pushy. They expect them to not really care about their needs. But what I think what it comes down to, like when it comes to someone that is quote unquote a good salesman, is someone that, like we've talked about, that listens to that person's needs, sees if they're a good fit, see how the product's going to benefit them, and it's not just about getting a profit, but it's about
helping somebody.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, like what are you doing to contribute to them, make their
somebody else's life,
right, making their life better or easier.
Yeah.
Giving them, how is this product going to improve their life?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with what the salesman is exposed to, why they're getting into their sales position, their training. A lot of people are jumping into jobs just for the money. Right, so they're just like, what's the best tactic to close? And it's like, well, dude, you need to take a step back and really think, what's your why? Why are you here? Why do you want to do this? What's your value proposition? And going back to what you said, it's like really listening to the client, really seeing if they're a fit for your service and how can you better their life, right? Because that's when I think you'll really shine, is when you're like, you feel like you're doing a purpose, and not just, I'm in it for the money, because people smell that shit right away too. It's I don't really like the word salesperson.
Salesman.
Yeah, because it's
saleswoman.
It's like you're not really selling something. It's how can I help you, right?
That's what it is. It's exactly what it is. How can I help you? Yeah. And then you have to become a pro at your craft too. That matters too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. To really be able to serve people. But I mean, real estate for us, we're talking about door knocking before we even had our licenses. So we've been submerged with real estate for many, many years. This is not a transitional thing that's gonna last a year or two. We're in it all the way. Yeah.
Right. Speaking of real estate, like I mentioned before, I like to sit in Barnes and Noble, and one of the books I was picking up and reading was these. I guess it's like a different book series. It's called Back to Basics, and the one particular book I was reading from them is about real estate investing. So something I wanted to learn about too, and I was going to ask, of course, both of you about it. But one of the things I read about is that people that when it comes down to real estate and getting that started with real estate investing, people generally invest tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, Bobby, because we've actually had some requests this week about, getting to talk about real estate investing and how to get that going. And that's a great topic. Obviously, this podcast has actually gone longer than any other podcast. But that is a great topic that maybe Ryan and I can get into. Maybe on our next solo, man, we get into that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are interested in that stuff. So we promise to bring you guys something like that. At the same time, it's a great opportunity to share, most importantly, our mistakes, because I've made a lot of mistakes, and there is a lot of wrong ways to do it. That's for sure. There's a lot of programs and a lot of stuff, a lot of scams, I would say, that you can get involved with. But listen, guys, I plan on having some flippers on here, other realtors, everybody that be able to provide value to the community. That's what it is, the community. Yeah, so we'll bring that back on.
I'm excited.
All right, so we're down to 4 minutes, Bobby. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to come and chat with Ryan and I. Is there any last thoughts you want to close with?
Yeah, no, it was very nice meeting you. Like I said, I was, prepping up for this, watching you on YouTube. I guess they say you kind of know someone before you really meet them. So it was nice meeting you. It was a nice talk. I gained a lot of information out of you. And I can't wait for round 2, the sequel already.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Thanks again to Bobby Manzano. And we'll catch you guys next week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good week.
Thanks for having me on the show.